Hello darlings and welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to be going through my owned TBR on my bookshelf. Owned TBR means my owned to be read list, or I guess in this case collection of books. So basically we'll be going through my bookshelf and marking everything as read or not read. I saw this on Kate Cavanaugh's channel. I hope I said her last name right. I'm not sure if I did. But I saw it on her channel and then I searched it on YouTube, and apparently several people have done something like this. But Kate's got a great channel and I definitely suggest checking her out, especially if you're an Authortuber or a writer. She's got some really great content, so I'll list her in the caption below. Before we get started, I'd like to say that a lot of the books I own were given to me or inherited. I had more books years ago, but some of them got destroyed in a flood, some of them were sold without my consent. There was a whole thing, so a lot of the books I had when I was younger I don't have anymore, but I also do have a good bit of those. But like I said, most of them were given to me or inherited. So I'm interested to see how many of them I've actually read and how many of them I haven't, and a little nervous too. With all that said, let's get started. Welcome to the voiceover. So I thought I would guide you through what exactly my thought process here was. So as you can see, I am flipping some of the books down. I decided that this would be an easy way for me to visually see what books I have read versus which books I haven't. And also, as you can see, I have a lot of trinkets on my bookshelves that I'm having to work around. I don't know how many people do this. I've seen some other people with a lot of trinkets as well. But I have a ridiculous amount on my bookshelf. So, as I said, I'm flipping down the books I have read so I can easily see the books that I have not read. And I do this for the first 4 shelves of my bookshelf. My last shelf is actually just my nonfiction books, and I don't have a lot of those. It's just 3 or 4. And then there's a bunch of open space that is the only shelf on my bookshelf that isn't completely full yet. I would like to go ahead and say that there are many books that I don't own that I have read. Not all the books that I've read in my life do I own. For example, books that I read in high school or in grade school in general, I don't own a lot of those books, even some of the books that I really enjoy and would like to own. So just keep that in mind. These are just books that I happen to own. Right now I'm on the 4th shelf, which has become the problem shelf because that's my poetry bookshelf. And I'm getting in a lot of poetry books recently. So this bookshelf is pretty packed in. I'm going to have to rearrange this bookshelf and bleed it into the last bookshelf pretty soon. I also keep my own book on my bookshelf in the poetry section just because I really don't know where to put it. But let me know if you do that too. Do you put your own books on your bookshelf, or do you put them in a different area? Also, you can see my movie shelf. I do own a lot of DVDs, so you can just ignore that one. And in between the 2 bookshelves there's actually a floating shelf, but I took off the books that I had on the floating shelf for easier counting, and that's why it's just like a weird empty shelf over there in the corner. I'm doing the counting process now. I believe I decided to count the books I had read first, and then went through and counted the books that I haven't read. I'm getting towards the end of counting now, and I'm going to be doing the final tallies. Anytime I do math, I get a little nervous. I'm not the best at math, but I made sure to take my time to count everything correctly. Now you're going to be seeing me do a little happy dance because I felt victorious in this moment, and a small little tour of my bookshelf after I destroyed it for this video. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm super excited because it turns out that I have actually read more of the books on my shelves than I haven't. Though, to be frank, it is close. So, I've read 56 of the books on my bookshelf, and I haven't read 44. There are 4 that I don't remember if I finished them, but I know that I read some of them. And overall, if my math is correct, which it could not be, I have 104 books on my shelf. Now, this does not include any of the comic books. I do have some comic books on my shelf, and I do think I've read all of them, but I just didn't count those in this tally. I did count graphic novels. I only have like 1 graphic novel, but I did count that one. So I'm really excited about this, but 44 books on my bookshelf that I haven't read is a lot, and it's a lot of real estate on my bookshelf. So what I'm going to try to do this year is, I'm not saying I'm going to try to read them all because, oh my gosh, no, I probably won't, but I am going to try to pick one and try to read it, and if I don't like it, then it's going to be unhauled and keep going and going and going until I get rid of books I don't want, and then I'll just keep the books that I do want. So that is the goal. It is hard for me to get rid of things. Like almost all of the Stephen King books are from my sister who passed away. So I inherited those and some of the other books from her. So I am a little, I guess, sentimental about it, but I probably will keep some but get rid of others. But I do want to try to read them, and not just the Stephen King ones, but every book on there. I want to give it a shot. If I don't like it, that's fine. I can get rid of it, and that gives me more space for new books because I'm running out of space. The last shelf on my bookshelf is pretty empty, but once that's filled up, that's it. I'm maxed out. So I'm trying to be conscious and aware of that, but I'm also part of a book club, and so I've been getting in poetry books mostly, just like mostly only poetry books, but yeah, my poetry shelf is like maxed out of space, and it's gonna have to start bleeding onto the last shelf, which is actually like just my nonfiction shelf. So I don't even know. I'm just thrilled that I've actually read more that I haven't read, because I was really worried that that was not going to be the case. I was so worried about it. Well, darlings, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications. Don't forget to tippity tap in the comments below to tell me what you thought of this video, and to give me any book recommendations you might have, because most of the books on my shelf are older and I need ideas for new books to read. If you made it this far, please remember to pick up your bonus points here. And always remember to rise from your ashes, darlings. Until next time, bye!